Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for attending episode 3 of our collaboration with Cooking Matters, our family cooking class. Today, we'll be focusing on feeding in the first year. So, kind of figuring out what to feed your baby just beyond baby food and maybe into those next stages. So, our goals are going to be on the right hand side of the slide. So, we're going to be discussing infant feeding options. We're going to be practicing food preparation for infants at different stages of their development and prepare infant foods while cooking for the entire family. So we're going to get started with a recipe demonstration. So today I'm going to be making these veggie wraps. So this can be something that you make for your whole family, for your toddler, and then there are specific ingredients that you can pull out to feed your baby in those earlier stages. So, for example, in step 7, you can reserve some of that avocado and yogurt mash before adding in the lemon, and you can feed that to your baby at a later time. You can also give your baby some strips of the tortilla depending on their age. And if you use seasonal veggies, you can just set them to the side and prepare them for your baby, keeping attention to their size and keeping things safe, and feeding those at a later date. So let's get cooking. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and we're going to go ahead and start the recipe. So get everything set up. Make sure you can see everything. This is our staging area here. And so you won't be able to see my face, but you will be able to see the workspace, which is most important. So I've already prepped some of the veggies. So if you're following along, you see that steps 1 through 5 are kind of just prep stages. So I've already prepared the carrots and radishes. And so I just used like a veggie peeler to peel them into small little strips. That's going to be really easy to chew and will make for a nice little sandwich. And then I've already rinsed the herbs. We're using cilantro today. And if you don't know how to store cilantro to keep it fresh, I recommend keeping it in a little cup of water, and that way it will stay fresh for probably up to a week. I feel like when you put cilantro just in the fridge, it tends to wilt after a few days. So keeping it fresh in this water is a really good trick. And then I've also already grated the cheese. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started with that avocado kind of yogurt spread. So I'm going to grab a bowl. I'm going to cut this avocado just lengthwise. I'm going to remove the pit, and you can just squeeze and the pit should pop right out. And I'm going to add a spoon. And then we can scoop this avocado just out of the skin. You want to make sure you get all the avocado that's right up to the skin. That's actually going to be the most nutrient dense part of the avocado, which is interesting. We use the full avocado. Make sure you don't get this little top thing in. Make sure to remove it. There we go. Okay, so then we're gonna mash it. I think it's easier probably with a fork. Awesome. And then we're going to stir in the yogurt. So we're just using plain yogurt. We're doing 1/4 of a cup. Make sure we get all of that out of there. And then what we'll do is just squeeze a little lemon onto the mixture, making sure that if any seeds fall in, you remove those. And if you want to do the full lemon, you can, or you can do half. I really like lemon flavor, so I'm gonna do the whole thing. And so we did have a few seeds fall in, so just make sure to remove those. They're pretty easy to spot. And then we'll just mix it up. And so this is one of the steps that you could have saved some of that yogurt and avocado mixture before adding the lemon in for your baby. So that would kind of be like a substitute for baby food. Has a lot of good protein, good fat. Good option for a little baby. So that's our kind of yogurt, avocado, lemon mixture. You can see it's still a little chunky, and that's totally fine. And then we're gonna set that aside. We're then gonna warm our tortilla in the microwave. So I'm just using this large tortilla. You can use smaller ones, taco size, whatever you have on hand. I'm gonna warm it up in the microwave for just like 15 seconds to kind of loosen it up and make it more malleable and make it stick into that wrap form that we want it to. So you can cover it in a wet paper towel, or you can just put it on a plate and just put it right in the microwave. It's totally up to you. So it's just a little warm, which is perfect. And then we're just gonna go ahead and assemble the tortilla wrap. So we're gonna spread some of this avocado mixture as like a sauce. We're just gonna spread it along the base. And the instructions say to use 1/3 of all of these ingredients. That's under the assumption that you're making 3 wraps. But you can just use whatever is appropriate for the recipe that you're making in your household. So layered some of the avocado mixture. It smells super good. And then we're going to layer with some greens. So I just had spinach on hand. So that's what I'm using. You can use really whatever greens you have. And then we're gonna layer the veggies on top. So these carrots, nice and thinly sliced. And then we'll do the radish. The cheese. And the instructions say to add the herbs to the cilantro or the avocado yogurt mix, but I'm choosing just to put them on top just because I like fresh big pieces of cilantro, but you can do whatever you'd like. Just picking it and kind of getting those leaves off, spreading it evenly. And it looks like we're ready to go. So this is what it's gonna look like before you wrap it up. I like to get everything in the middle. Just fold it on either side, wrap, and push everything in, and then you can just wrap around. So then you'll have just one kind of burrito-like sandwich. And what you can do to make it more fun for your kids is you can cut it into these little pinwheels. So this makes it easier to eat, makes it fun because you can see all the layers. And so then you end up with like 6 or however many layers of little sandwiches like that. So super good, super yummy, super colorful, healthy, delicious. And again, you can use that avocado mix for your baby. You can save some of these seasonal veggies depending on how old your baby is, and just keep in mind the size of these veggies. Or you can just take some strips off of the tortilla before you roll it, and that can be a good snack for your baby. So yeah, we have these beautiful, colorful pinwheel sandwiches. Awesome. So let's get back to the PowerPoint. All right, so I want to touch on feeding through the stages. So as babies grow, they learn to communicate with the world around them, about their needs, about their wants, and this includes their need for food. So there is a handout that will be associated with this demonstration called Feeding Through the Ages. And I'm going to actually stop sharing this and share this other resource because I think it's really awesome. Let's see. So this will be available to you if you find this helpful, but it just kind of goes through the developmental stage, so newborn through toddler, and goes over their eating skills, hunger cues, and fullness cues based on their age. So for example, a baby that is a supported sitter, their hunger cues are going to be moving their head forward to reach the spoon when they're hungry, and many will swipe food towards their mouth when they're hungry. And oppositely, if they're full, they'll turn their head away and kind of might be distracted or pushing food away. And then, for example, if they're beginning to walk, they'll express desire for specific foods with words or sounds. And if they're full, they can shake their head or say, like, no more, I'm done. So this is a really helpful resource for kind of just understanding what your child is trying to tell you in terms of hunger, fullness, and food desires. And that will be available to download for all of you. Awesome. So did any of those skills that we just went over sound familiar? And looking at this graphic, kind of what do you notice about the use of breast milk or formula, even as eating skills advance and your child begins to develop? It's super important that breast milk or properly mixed formula are constant through the first whole year. So being responsive to baby's cues and understanding their development stage is vital for introducing foods at the right time for your child, but you can also include breast or bottle formula fed milk throughout all of these stages if you feel that that's necessary. And yeah, so let's go over some discussion questions. So how can pulling out baby safe ingredients from family recipes help save you time and money? So for example, we are already making those pinwheels, the veggie pinwheels, and we just pulled out some ingredients that we are already combining for a smaller baby. So with a little planning, you can actually save money by avoiding paying for commercial baby food and letting the baby enjoy the same foods that kind of everyone else is already eating. Also, as a bonus, this gets the baby used to tastes your family is already enjoying as they get older and can eat more food from the family table when time allows. Also, there's no more running out for baby food when your supply gets low. That can be so frustrating. You'll know what to use and how to use what foods you have on hand to fix a safe baby meal at really any time. So that's going to be super helpful, save you time and money, which is the best. So when you're making baby food or kind of grabbing some ingredients from the recipe that you're making for the rest of your family for your baby, it's really important to keep the food safe. So you want to introduce one food at a time. If it's hot, you want to reheat the food to about 165 and then let it cool. And then you can refrigerate it or freeze. It's also best to keep salt and sugar out of baby foods. And babies should actually never be fed honey, additionally. Babies are learning preferences, and extra salt and sugar now will set them up to demand more sugar and salt as they get older, which is really interesting. And I mean, they don't need those flavors anyway, so there's really no need to incorporate them into any baby food. And wait as long as you can before introducing those seasonings. And if you all are purchasing commercially prepared food, you can use the nutrition label to figure out if there is added sugar or salt in the baby food. So just look at that nutrition facts panel and see if there's any sugar or salt in the ingredients, or just look to see what percentage of salt is incorporated into the food. So what did you learn today about introducing solids that you want to try at home? So I encourage you all to make a goal based on what you've learned, whether that be trying out your own baby food or pulling ingredients from a recipe you're already making and making that into something that you can feed your small child. Both of those are really awesome goals. I also want to highlight that the WIC program is a great place to get advice on feeding your little ones. If you're eligible, it's basically a nutrition program through which you can get healthy food monthly and nutrition advice from pregnancy until the time your child is 5. So it's a really great resource for kind of learning how to feed your baby, when to feed your baby, and everything surrounding nutrition for newborns up to kids when they're 5 years old. They also offer formula for qualified families. So that's another awesome resource. So just reviewing some tips for feeding in the first year. So only feed your baby breast milk or properly mix formula in the first 6 months. So you really shouldn't be introducing any type of solid foods into the baby's diet until the 6-month stage. Learn how to read your child's cues to understand how and when to introduce solid foods, and save some time and money by preparing safe, age-appropriate solid foods alongside family meals. So thanks so much for coming to today's lecture and food demonstration. I hope you learned a lot. If you want more resources, you can follow Cooking Matters on their Facebook or check their website, cookingmatters.org. Here you can find recipes and tips and videos about saving time, money, and handling feeding challenges. Thank you so much. There should be a survey attached to this website that you found the recording. So if you could fill that out, that would be awesome. It keeps us able to offer free content and helps us improve content as we continue this online process. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And this is just episode 3 of the 8-episode series. So if you want to learn more, every episode is a different theme. So it would be fun and interesting to continue watching these episodes if you have time. So thank you so much.